Hey everyone, today we're going to learn about removing parts of an image in Photoshop. If you ever touch the eraser tool when you're editing in Photoshop, you're actually doing this wrong. Whenever I get a chance, I want to show you how to work non-destructively. The ability to make an edit in Photoshop, but easily reverse it later if you have to. Today's video is going to show you how to erase non-destructively using layer masks. Let me show you how this works. Here I have a document that contains one simple layer. In this case, my goal is to remove part of the background in this photo, leaving only the subject in the foreground. Beginning Photoshop users will usually go straight for the eraser, and that's the tool that makes the most sense when starting out. The eraser tool is located here. Let's look at why, though, that this was actually a terrible idea to do. When I start erasing the background of this particular image, it certainly seems like it's doing what I want it to, but it's just like an eraser in traditional art. This process is very destructive. At this point, if I have saved the document and closed it, everything you erased is lost. So unless you have a duplicate of the layer, when the document is opened again, there's no way to bring back that data. I'll edit undo that. On the flip side, there's a much more efficient way to erase parts of your layers. Using the same layer as an example, instead of grabbing the eraser, we're going to be using a layer mask instead. To add a layer mask to a layer, you can click on the Add Layer Mask icon at the bottom of the Layers panel, located here. This will place a white box beside the layer's thumbnail. The reason that the layer mask is white is because the basic rule of thumb is that white is visible while black is hidden. So now, instead of erasing, we're actually going to be brushing with either a black or a white brush. As I paint on the layer mask, I'm seeing the same results as I saw when I used the eraser. So what's the difference? Well, this time, nothing is being destructively removed. Instead, you're simply hiding parts of your layer, which you can easily bring back by switching to a white brush and painting. I'll toggle over and get a white brush, and I can simply paint back anything that I masked out before. With layer mask, you can simply add a mask to any type of layer, and just like we did a moment ago, hide portions of the layer with black or reveal with white, completely non-destructive. So make sure, instead of using the eraser tool to remove any parts of the picture we don't want, we'll add a layer mask and use the brush to remove or hide parts, which is a non-destructive way to edit. Now here's the exercise I want you to do for learning how to use layer masking. Open these two photos. Both of these photos, this one and this one here, should be located in your Photoshop 101 folder on your desktop. We're going to take this photo, drag it and drop it to the tab of this photo, drag down on top of the picture, and let go. I'm going to hold down the Shift and the Alt key at the same time and drag inward to resize this photo. We'll move it over, hold the Shift and the Alt key again, and drag up so that this picture is slightly larger than the one below. Click on the Commit Transform or hit the Enter key on your keyboard. And at the very bottom of the Layers panel, we'll click on this button to add a layer mask to this top image. Again, we see the icon for the layer mask associated with this particular image. It's got these white corners that indicate that you're working on the mask. You don't want to work on the image, but you want to work on the mask. We'll select the paintbrush. Use the default colors white and black, which you can switch at the bottom here. If you don't have white and black as your default colors, if there's some other color here, red, blue, or green, for instance, click on this default foreground and background colors to get rid of the other colors you might have and force it to become white and black. We'll have black as the foreground. Take our paintbrush. Again, adjust the size and the hardness. Have your hardness somewhere up closer to 100 and adjust the size as needed. I'll get mine closer to about 200 and we'll start to come and get rid of part of this picture. Again, it looks like I'm erasing the dark sky and replacing it with the sky, which is actually in the photograph below. In order to do a really nice job around the rock area here, Control plus, zoom in, reduce the size of your brush, and carefully do your best job at getting rid of all the other part of this sky. Here's an example of what it should look like when you're done. Here's both the layers. Here's the masked area. We can right click to disable the last mask to turn it off to see the before and the after. Again, it looks like it's been erased, but we've incorporated and used layer masking to hide or get rid of parts of pictures we don't want to be there. I would recommend using the Wacom tablet and pen, but the mouse could also be used. Again, do your very best job and mask away the top photo area so that the finished image looks like the example here. When you're finished, save this as your last name to the V drive, completed Photoshop 101 folder, and the layer masking folder. In the next exercise, we're going to learn about layer blending modes to take images that are stacked on top of each other and see what happens when we start to blend images together with layer blending modes.